Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Hotspur Hood. I haven't done a solo show for over a week. This could be my last one for a while too. Apologies for the decoration. We moved into a new gaff. It's horrible. We're going to change it ASAP. I try to chuck a few Spurs stuff up. Haven't unpacked all my shirts yet. Got a little, Spurs shirt. Spurs go marching on. But I tell you what, it's been a crap summer. Weather's been crap. Transfer window's been crap. Predictable transfer window for Spurs. Rubbish. Don't care what anybody tells me. Some people are calling it 7 or 8. Month in, when we lose 2 or 3 of the games, first few games, it's going to be 2 out of 10. The same people that gave it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 10. To be fair, I don't think anyone's giving it 10. It's not over yet because we could be selling Harry Kane. 4th bid. I thought it was it. I thought after the 3rd bid was rejected, that was it. I'm not going to go into Harry Kane today. I'm bored of it. I really am, but apparently there's a £110 million bid Bayern Munich could put forward. If that is true, then I'm sure we're going to sell. Terrible summer. What can you say? Absolutely horrible. Please still like the channel. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Get your super chats in. Right, let's get it going, Lily Whites. But to be fair, I'm going to talk about a few players that we could get in today. Because there is news. There is news, as you can see from the thumbnail. Nelsson to Spurs in part exchange for Sanchez. Going to delve into that. And, of course, Jonathan David. Jonathan David will only happen, the little striker / winger, if Kane goes. So, it looks like Kane... If £110 million comes in, that's it. Kane's gone. Levy will accept it. Going to be shocking. It's going to be a nightmare if Kane goes. I've been discussing it all day on group chats and just normal WhatsApp and Twitter. Not a good thing. Harry Kane leaving this football club is not a good thing because we could get nothing for him next summer. Not my money. Right, let's get in the chat. Oh, it almost ended broadcast there. Oh, mate, that was close. Thanks for joining me today, by the way. It's actually a rare sunny day in the south of England. A rare sunny day. Daryl Denton, big up, my friend. All Levy is doing is buying time, not the right players to compete. Agreed. Always said only Spurs would buy Maddison and sell Kane, known this club too long. And this is the problem. The last quality attacking creative mid we had was Eriksen. And we had Kane just in front of him and Kane was scoring goals for fun. We talk about Kane doesn't fit the Ange system. He does as a number 9. The problem is, without the creative midfielder the last 2 or 3 years, the only creation we had replacing Eriksen was Ndombele and Lo Celso, which clearly didn't work. We have that in Maddison, like the Eriksen we had back in the day. Then Kane will stay as the number 9 and will score a hatful of goals again. So we bring Maddison in. We use the creative spark to supply Kane, and then Kane goes. The best striker in the world. Top 3 strikers in the world. I don't understand why people want him gone. I don't. I can sort of get the argument to a certain degree, but we're finishing 10th or 12th. I said we weren't going to go into Kane, but it's inevitable. We're going to finish 10th or 12th. We're going to be, if we sell Kane, it doesn't matter what replacement it is, even Jonathan David, we're going to finish in the bottom half of the table. Ange won't be there past Christmas. No chance. The football fans, the Spurs fans will say, we just want to see attacking football. We don't care where we finish. I saw that at the end of last season. We conceded 5 against Newcastle playing 4 at the back. 20 minutes in, the most northerly ground in the Premier League takes the round trip from Spurs fans to get to St James's Park is incredible. Left within 20 minutes. I'll turn the TV off in 20 minutes. I've never done that. Never done that as a Spurs fan. I was finished. 20 minutes. Liverpool, we can see 5. Kane and Son were the ones that bowed us out. Son's no spring chicken. Kane's no spring chicken, but Kane scored 30 goals last season. Son was poor, man. We lose Kane. We probably lose Son because of the assists as well that he supplies, that Kane supplies Son with. We're 10th or 12th. Spurs fans are not going to accept that. We're not. We say we will, but we won't. It's going to be the same as Nuno. He'll be gone. Ange will be gone. He'll get the blame for a terrible transfer window. Fans will blame him again. Not Ange's fault. It wasn't even Nuno's fault. Didn't rate Nuno, but it certainly wasn't his fault. Horrible transfer windows. A proper club builds a team for pre-season, not for a window. It's only been scattergun by this club. Hope and wishful thinking every season based on Levy never changing his ways. on these solo streams, I'll go full interactive. I'll read out everyone's messages, and it's great to see regulars here. It's great to see familiar faces. We don't always get the best views. We don't always get a lot watching live, but I tell you what, the chat is always on fire, whether I agree or disagree. So I appreciate the regulars being here. We'll have a good debate today. Build a stadium, destroyed the club. Who can't agree with that? I hope Kane goes. We need that money for 2 more centre-backs and midfielder centre more, as we have enough players who can score. But I also ask you, Dan. Me and Dan just, we had a little debate about this not long ago. Danny, you saw him on Tuesday. If you saw this show, you probably see him on a few other channels. He's a good guy. But we disagree on a lot of things. As I disagree with a lot of Spurs fans on this Kane situation. I'm certainly in the minority when I said I don't want to lose him. Not this summer. Let him go next summer when we finish sixth. Top 6, best chance of keeping Kane is to get into the top 6. Best chance of signing future strikers is to get into the top 6. Then let Kane go. That's the way I see it. What happens if Richie and Son are injured as well? Because I know Dan, talked to Dan a lot, thinks that we can put Son up front. But what if Son gets injured? Because players will get injured over a 38-game marathon. Son's had injuries in the past. Richarlison's had bad injuries. What happens if you lose one of them? I don't think they will get anywhere close to 30 goals. Richarlison gets half of that. If Richarlison gets 15 goals, half of what Kane got last season, I'll be shocked, man. I'll be shocked. Big up. Charlie O'Neill, what's happening? On sabbatical now. See nothing this window. Next season, going to be any different. Probably going to be worse, to be honest with you. Big up, Tommy. So anything happening today? Well, it's Kane. Kane's about to go, if you haven't read the news, Chris. Nelsson for Sanchez, which I'll be happy with. As I say, I'm going to touch on that in a second. And David could be coming in, but Jonathan David, Lil in Canada striker. He's a good player. Gary O'Neill, how you doing, my friend? Big up, Tommy. Best of luck. But Kane, we need to reinvest the money into the squad, and that doesn't mean Clement Lenglet. I guarantee we're going to sign him. Hopefully not. I'll definitely take Victor Nelsson over Clement Lenglet. Showdown music between Levy and Bayern over Kane. It certainly is. The intro gets people pumping. I can't believe channels are pushing for us to sign Gift Orban and Jonathan David, who are 2 average short lightweight strikers in weak leagues. I don't know a great deal about Gift Orban, but Jonathan David certainly, he's not the biggest boy and he's not an out-and-out striker. Although his goals to games ratio is very good. I mean, last season, certainly. Hey, all, Madison, man. Look, we bring you in, Madison, and then we cut off your supply lines because the guy that you are going to supply, you was going to supply, the best number 9 in the world, is going. As an official hoodlum, I'm here as always. Rob Belcher, what's up, my man? We need to go and make statement signers now. Go and sign Dusan Vlahovic and tap Sober. See, Vlahovic could happen. It's a long shot, but if nobody else wants him, we could get him on loan for like a 10, 15 million pounds initial loan, maybe mandatory next season or optional next season, similar to Kulusevski. I think Juventus need money, so that could happen. I said at the start of the window, it's a long shot, but it's the best option I think we have. I think Vlahovic is an out-and-out Premier League number 9. So we do business with Juventus as well. It's a long shot, but he's one of the few players that probably could replace Kane, especially with Maddison supplying those through balls to him. He's very good at holding the ball up. He's made for the Premier League. Osherman, Ramos from Benfica, they were never, ever going to happen. Never going to happen, so it's not worth talking about. You never know. You never, ever know. With Vlahovic, I don't see it personally. Spurs rather sign anyone just to say we bought. Exactly. Big up, Tommy. Terry Wright, what's happening, my friend? Good afternoon, all. Adrian Schrock, I'm seeing so many regulars. I'm seeing the regulars in. We got the regulars in. Big up, everyone. Amazing music. Love it. It's all right, isn't it? Yo. It's very different. The intro is obviously country, all country. Well, say country. It's country gunslinger music. It's like Romero music. I would say, if he's going to represent a footballer, it's like Romero music, a gunslinger. And Romero's a gunslinger, but he's not a leader. That's what we need at centre back. And then a bit of synth, bit of 80s synth. Love an intro, don't you, Tommy? Fucking hell, it's quite long, isn't it? It's 4 minutes to be. It's 4 minutes. Feels like 8 minutes, double. I'm sorry, but Gift Orban's not good enough for Spurs. He's so slight and short to scoring in an average league. Last one. What's up? Kane, bid accepted by Levy. It's all over the news today. Yeah, 110 million pounds. That's definitely going to get him. Kane is gone. Dyer and Davis need to follow a complete reset. Dyer definitely. Dyer has to go, but they're not going. Davis could, depending on who we go with left back behind Udogie. If we could go with Reggie. He's played quite a lot in pre-season. and then we sell Davis. Both aren't staying. I can't see Reggie and Davis staying. Anybody who thinks Davis is in any way fit enough to play centre-back in a quarterback system is, smoking crack. Kane is gone. Darren Davis need to follow. Yeah, I've already said that. Any signings now is damage limitations. Levy ain't serious. Never serious. Never serious. Is this supporting Ange? Look at the Chelsea. I put a tweet out yesterday. In fact, I put a community chat out yesterday. The Chelsea sales compared to the Spurs sales. Everyone knew Chelsea's big thing going into this window, supporting Poch, was to get rid of the deadwood. They've got rid of about 20 players, and they've signed it in Nkunku's, Nicholas Jackson. They signed Disassi. Don't even need centre-backs that badly. They've got Thiago Silva, who's 39, but playing like a 29-year-old. They've got Fofana, Wesley Fofana, who, when fit, is absolutely outstanding. They still got Shalaba. They've got, who's the other guy? They've got a ridiculously good centre-back, another ridiculously good centre-back as well. They just keep improving. In Nkunku at Cam, he's an incredible player. Nicholas Jackson looks like a fantastic striker signing. If it will be fine if Kane leaves. If he goes for free, then we'd be idiots. The narrative some people are spreading is Conte and Jose had blood on their hands for everything going through Kane's son, and now the shackles are off if Kane goes. Absolute joke. Jonathan David is average. I've seen his plays on YouTube. A very raw player who gets swallowed up in the Premier League, as would Gift Orban. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you don't think he's good enough, on YouTube, then that's a problem, because YouTube makes everyone look brilliant. So a lot of fellow streamers use YouTube as gospel, which is ridiculous. Andrew will be here next season. Remember, you're going to owe me 50 mil. 50 mil? 50 mil. I've got 50 quid on Danny. I forgot to message back because I'm rushing back with the kids. But this £50 bet that I've got with Dan is that Andrew will not last the season if Kane's sold. So if Kane's sold and we don't sign a replacement, say we just have Richarlison or Son up top, Dan, like you want, we're definitely not. It'll be Nuno. October, November, the fans will not allow it. The fans say we'll see attacking football. We want to see this. We want to see that. It won't happen. When you lose games, things change. Looks lovely in full, but if you keep losing every week, it won't work. And Levy won't take it either. No way Levy's going to take it. No chance. With the Kane money, no Nelsson. It has to be Tap Sober. I agree, definitely. Tap Sober was the centre back I wanted over Van der Ven. Both footed, 150 games for Leverkusen. But do you know what? Nelson's he's actually a good option. He's not the worst option, better than Langley. Richie will now be the man. Scary thought. No chance Levy is going to spend big money on a striker in this window. Not only is he not going to spend big money on a striker, but there are no real strikers available, or strikers that want to come to Spurs this late. Clubs will not want to sell players 2 weeks left to the window. I know Spurs do it a lot, but many clubs won't. They've got their pre-season plans. They've got the fitness into the players' legs. They're ready. They're ready to go for the weekend in all leagues. They're not going to want to sell. There'll be a huge premium. We sell Kane for £110 million. Even someone like Jonathan David, valued at 60 million on transfer market, you'd have to pay 60, 70 million. 70 million. We may disagree on a few points, but we agree on Levy out. 100%. 100%. I'd like us to go for Tap Sober, Gift Orban, and Eze, a solid 140 million. Yeah. See, this is the problem. Leverkusen don't want to sell that late. Gift Orban, the club don't want to sell that late. Eze, Crystal Palace don't want to sell that late. They're proper clubs. Palace reportedly want 80 mil for Eze. Not happening, unfortunately. That's stupid money. We could have got him for 25 million pounds a few years ago. And he was gaining a lot of plaudits in London. Everyone knew he's going to be a quality player. Michael Olise as well. Crystal Palace got him for £8 million. I said at the time, I used to watch a lot of Championship football. Got so many assists, so many goals at Reading the season before he went to Palace. £8 million minimum release fee. Olise, homegrown. Oh my God, what have we done? Eze, 70, 80 million probably. Homegrown tax, English tax. And Olise will be the same. Even though he plays for the French squad, he's homegrown. He plays for France under 21s, I think, Olise. What a player. What a player. Bet is if Kane goes, Andrew will still be here next season unless we get relegated. Yeah, I'm down for that. Not even next season. March maximum, April maximum. Postecoglou will be gone. I don't care who he is. He's not getting into the top 7 in this league. In Celtic, he can win trebles. Brendan Rodgers won trebles for Celtic. In fact, Brendan Rodgers won 2 trebles on the bounce at Celtic. That means nothing. And then the rest of his years at Japan and Australia. So there's no evidence to suggest that he's going to do a great job here and somehow get us into the top 6 or top 7 without Harry Kane's 30 goals. I just don't see it, man. Give Dorban as a 21-year-old who just got his first call up to Nigeria this summer. Not good enough. One for the future FC. And Vélez is that as well, isn't he? I mean, I talk about Chelsea have signed 3 or 4 20 million players from South America as well. Under the radar. When we sign someone from South America, it's like this guy's going to be the next Maradona. Chelsea have signed someone for £18 million, someone for £12 million. Arsenal signed someone for £15 million, you know? I'm not sure I'll even double it. Do you know what? I'd put £500 on it, Danny, but I know you'll do a runner, man. I know you'll do a runner and won't pay up. Madison matters. Auburn scored in Champions League. Solomon is 167. Just saying, Auburn would be great signing. Tony Rodriguez. What's happening, my friend? What is happening? Right. So I did want to get onto this. Let's change my screen position. I only put my banner up. Please smash a like. 20 minutes in, 28 people watching. Thank you ever so much for joining me. Again, I apologize for the decoration. New house. We're going to sort it out. This is going to be my last live stream for a while because I'm on holiday Friday. I wish I could stream in Greece, but I can't because there's going to be a lot going down. But we're going to try and get other people to host the streams like Dan, Tiago, and Jacob from Tuesday. We're going to try and get them to do something next Tuesday. They're fantastic at what they do. Even as I said, we disagree all the time. Jason Hotspur should be streaming tomorrow as well. So 16 likes, 30 people watching. Let's get it to 25 likes. It's free. It helps the channel grow, as do the subs. Get us to 3K subs soon. Before Christmas would be great. But we need every sub we can get because it's a relatively small channel. We need support. And as I said, it's all free. Right. So it's time for this. I used Sanchez. I used Nelsson as my thumbnail. I'm going to use Sanchez. Both involved, of course. Nelsson to Spurs, Sanchez swap. Part exchange. When I first heard of these rumours over a month ago, Victor Nelsson coming to Spurs, I was relatively happy. Not as the out-and-out centre-back to get the let's say the signature, the big signature we needed, the big name we needed at centre-back. But if it was the second centre-back behind a De Vrij or a Laporte, an experienced one, or a Tapsoba, I'm happy. I'm happy with Victor Nelsson. I know him a bit because I'm a Galatasaray fan. I'm half Turkish, so I don't watch them anywhere near as much as I used to. Back in the day, Turkish League used to be good. But I had lots of passionate Gala fans. Most of my family support Gala, and they absolutely rave about him. Solid, very solid at back, does all the basics extremely well. Big thing with him is a leader. He's very much a leader, which is not easy in the Turkish league because it can get rough, and you have to be rough and ready to be seen as a leader in the Turkish league. And I tell you what, one of the reasons I like Tapsoba so much is he's got games under his belt where Van der Ven, 38 games for Wolfsburg in 2 seasons. Tapsoba 150 games for Leverkusen. I like it. And Nelsson, 300 professional games. I think last 3 years in Galatasaray. The rest in Scandinavia. He's just 24 years old, you know? It's a lot of games. Never gets injured. So very good fitness levels. The comparisons are Jan Vertonghen, who was an outstanding player and leader. I don't take much from comparisons. They're ridiculous. Victor Janssen was going to be the next Klinsmann, Jurgen Klinsmann. Winks, the next Iniesta. In fact, Pochettino said that. It reminds me of Xavi and Iniesta. Winks Iniesta, he was named for a little while. He'd done all right in the Champions League run. Other than that, Winks never really done much. Never done a great deal. And then you got, Gil. Gil a couple of years back, the next Johan Cruyff. I think it was more to do with his haircut than anything else. But some Spurs fans, actually, they literally bullshit themselves and believe these comparisons. The weak ones. I've seen enough comparisons. So if Victor Nelsson could do half the job Vertonghen done, if he comes in, then he'd have done well. VDV, very young and untested, 22 years old. That's the centre back we've got in so far. And Ashley Phillips, we're not going to see, not for a couple of years. Romero, he's almost certainly going to be first team this season. Not a leader. So Nelsson could come in if he can sort the back four, bit of communication amongst the youngsters. We need communication back there. I think he'll do some. I think he'll do some good. And I tell you what, it makes a lot of sense. We haven't sold a single centre back. so far. We've got like 6, 7 centre-backs, most deadwood. We need to sell. So Sanchez going the other way. Let's say Davinson Sanchez plus £10 million for Nelsson. Fantastic. Because it's well publicised that Galatasaray's Victor Nelsson has got a £24 million minimum release fee. He said he was happy to come to Spurs, reportedly. So, yeah, Sanchez plus 10, £50 million. I'm taking Nelsson, although my first pick is Tapsoba. I don't think we're getting him now. I don't think that's happening. We spent £40 million on Van der Ven. There's no way we're spending over £30 million on another centre-back. I just don't see it. Not with Levy at the helm. Should we? Yes. Will we? No. So what worries me is that Nelson's got a relatively low minimum release fee, but nobody's taking it up. Nobody in Europe's taking it up, which suggests that he's not that great. But look, he could be a good addition. Yeah, I still can't figure out why we're so late signing our trouble position. So late, even a Van der Ven transfer, like a few days before the season starts. And their season is starting Sunday against Brentford. Oh, mate. I'm convinced. I am convinced we will still get, if we get another centre-back in, big if, it'll be Langley. I'm convinced it will be Langley. Right, let's get back in the chat. Let's see what people are saying. Right. £50 pocket. I'm sure that'll leave. I'm sure I'll even double it. I said I'll put fucking £500, man. £50 pocket, £50 to charity. That sounds fair. Let's make it £100. Let's do it. Let's do it £100. With Kane going, this could be the first time in God knows how long that we don't have any England internationals. Maddison has a lot of competition in his position. He certainly does audio. I can't believe he only had one cap before the most recent international break. Maddison only had one cap. We got strength and depth in there. We really, really have. In the centre midfield as a whole. Grealish, Foden, just from Man City. There's a lot of strength and depth there. Not sure why people are shitting on Gift Orban. We have the likes of Son who can play through the middle. Kane leaves. Orban would be great to rotate and come off the bench. But it's Kane. It's 30 goals a season. Maddison's the only sign we've made that is a proven good player. I agree. And I'm happy with Maddison. I think he's a top player. But let's face it, it was always going to be difficult to attract players in the first place. The Solomons played for Fulham in and out of the team. Phillips, Blackburn, Van der Ven, Wolfsburg. They're not big clubs to attract players from. It wasn't like, oh, Spurs are a huge club, I'm going to go to them. Maddison, let's face it, his club was relegated. Leicester were relegated, so he's always going to take up the option to come to Spurs. It's been a long, bang average window, but hey, why should we expect anything different? 8 weeks. I think it's 2 months today. The window's been open. We need a big, tall, strong striker who commands the box, not short, lightweight Gift Orban. And we already have signed young Argentina striker who's 6'2". You could play with a false nine. There could be a false nine. When you play with a false nine, traditionally they don't have to be that tall. But if you're gonna have Maddison behind a striker that you want to hold the ball up, it's no good. And Postecoglou does like we've seen from Furuhashi that he likes a striker that's not necessarily tall, but he can hold the ball up. So that's why I think Vlahovic is a good option. Tony would have been a great option. He's extremely good at holding the ball up. I mean, Brentford are Route 1. I like Thomas Frank. I think he's a fantastic manager, but Brentford are limited with the players they have, so they go Route 1. They punt the ball up to Tony. He headers on, bringing Mbemo into play or the other attacking players, and then gets on the end of shots himself. So Tony, for me, in the system, would have been a very good signing. But we've messed about, and Brentford won't accept less than 60, 70 million pounds. Do you think that Kane money has already been spent on Veliz and Van der Ven? Probably. We shouldn't have to spend Kane's money on them, but it's a good shout. We've got plenty of money in the bank. We earn the most money by a country mile. Match day income, season ticket prices, shirt prices, out stadium events. We earn an absolute fucking fortune. Shocking. Gala got Zaha on a free. We should have gone for him, signed him to a short-term contract and going for Tony and Jet. I'm so surprised at that C-Cubed. I'm very surprised he went to Galatasaray because I think he could have tripled his money in Saudi Arabia. Pass offered him a new contract. We've been linked with Zaha forever. I would take Zaha over Solomon all day long. I know Solomon looks okay in pre-season, but it is only pre-season, and the quality of opponents we've played is just ridiculous. Shakhtar, everyone bangs on about Shakhtar beating them 5-1. Shakhtar, that was the first goal they've scored in pre-season. They lost 5-0 to AEK Athens, Shakhtar. They lost 5-0 to Dordrecht, Shakhtar. They lost 3-0 to Ajax. They lost 5-0 to us. 5-1 to us. The only team they've scored against in the last 4 games is us pre-season. It's shocking now, Shakhtar. Really, really bad. Then you've got the Lion City Sailors, who their club fans were convinced we would concede double figures. We lost to West Ham. Loads of academy players playing. Barcelona was okay, but we lost 4-2. 3 late goals. Defense. It's all the defense. Everything, all the evidence suggests that the defense hasn't been improved. And Van der Ven, a 22-year-old coming in, is not going to make much difference. Oh, he's fast. Pace alone. Look, he's got potential. He's got bags of potential. But all it is potential. We've seen potential before. If anybody tells me that Van der Ven's going to be brilliant because he's fast, well, Sanchez, when he turned up at Spurs, was the second fastest player on our team. He's quick. Ridiculously quick. But you've got to do the basics right. To be a good player, you've got to do the basics right at centre-back. And that's winning your duels in the air, positioning, playing a good offside line, good unity with your other defenders. It's boring. The parts of defence that are integral are boring. It's not about pace or even being great on the ball. It's the boring parts that you need to be good at. 5 and 7. Do you count Pedro and Kulu? We'll bring in more if adding the last 2. They shouldn't count. Kulusevski has to count in the transfer window because it wasn't mandatory. Porro's £40 million does not count. That was done in January. We just had to pay a few months later. Kulusevski has to count out of the budget. But still, we haven't spent much. We really haven't spent much. The budget for a team that's finished 8th and playing catch-up to the teams around us, we haven't spent anywhere near enough. Arsenal have outspent us. They're not playing catch-up. They nearly won the league. You know, our North London rivals, we're playing catch-up to them, and we're still getting nowhere near the players they're getting in the transfer window. I'll pay some clubs to take some of the Deadwood. Still can't believe we only moved on Winks so far this window. Winks and Lucas Moura released. Chelsea have got rid of 20 players. Not even joking. They got rid of 20 players. I still think we need another right back. Porro's not the answer. His defending is horrific. Huge mistake signing him, in my opinion. He is really bad defensively. I believe that I have to believe, maybe it's more wishful thinking than anything, that he can learn the defensive side of his game. There's more chance of that happening than Emerson learning the attacking side of his game. Because, you know, if you can't cross a ball, if you can get 2 assists in 2 seasons, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with those 2. Emerson can't offer assists. Porro can't defend and can offer assists. I will donate £1,000 to any charity of Tommy's choice if we get higher than 7th. I keep saying it, but I need to do a charity stream. And I need to do a charity stream on epilepsy. I've got epilepsy. I'm sure Dan doesn't mind me saying. Dan's got epilepsy. We had Rob Belcher in the chat. He's got epilepsy. It's something that's... It's not... Nobody knows a great deal about epilepsy. It's all completely different. It affects people completely differently. The medication you're on to prevent it is very different in all circumstances. Not enough people know about it. 1 in 1,000 people just die of epilepsy. Unknown. They sleep at night. It's called SUDEP, sudden unexpected death from epilepsy. 1 in 1,000 people just wake up dead. Not a great deal. Not many people know about epilepsy, but it's not good. It's not good. So I'm going to do a charity stream, and if anybody goes towards charity, I'm gonna give it to some sort of epilepsy foundation, and I'll give it online. I'll do a share screen so you can see. I'll put it online. You know, I'm not going down Bob territory, that's for sure. So we might leave that to the end of the season or something. But yeah, not enough people know about epilepsy, and it's a fucking nightmare. That's the best. That's the bet then. £100 and £50 that goes to charity, and I'll give it to that epilepsy charity as well. Yeah, we'll put that towards charity. It's a shame that we're going to see Kane and Maddison play together. Yeah, I think it would have been fantastic. Eriksen and Kane together were fantastic. We talk about, well, Kane comes too deep for Maddison. He'll work out better. The formation will be better because Kane comes deep, and that's Maddison's position. Kane only started coming deep because there was no creativity. Kane can play as a number 9. Plays a number 9 for England. Highest goal scorer of all time. Scored 35 goals for us playing as number 9, not creating. He was forced to create. And he was unbelievable at creating, Kane. Top goal scorer and top assist maker a couple of years back, 2 years ago. That's never going to happen in the Premier League. Not while I'm alive. Maybe in 100 years. But to finish as a top goal scorer and top assist maker with our team, incredible. Can't lose this guy. Losing Kane, we're going to be so much poorer. Should I stay or should I go? Now, if I stay, there could be trouble. Yo, Tommy, salary agent. Say what you have to, Adam. Say what you have to. Let's get the Kane, though, and let's start cooking. Convert Porro to a right winger. Yeah. So, look, many people are saying we need a right back. I think we'll soon I think we'll soon learn about the fact that we know Porro can't really defend. We're going to soon learn that Udogie can't really defend either. And then, we had a go at centre-back. That's a big problem. Vicario, a goalkeeper, is going to be a big problem. I can't. I look at this guy and I don't see anything with Vicario. I see a flappable young keeper that should be backup, no more than backup. Vicario doesn't look better than Golini to me. They look similar, both from that league. In fact, Golini had a better reputation coming into our team, Golini, because he was number one for Atalanta, number one for Empoli for 18 months. This is the man to take over from Lloris, a World Cup winner, our captain. That alone, and a goalkeeper's part of the defence. We've got a back five. We got a back five this season, 2 centre-backs, 2 full-backs who can't really defend if you're putting Porro and Udogie in there. And then Vicario, who is just a nightmare. And he's shown in pre-season so far. We're gonna concede a fucking shed load. All this fucking about Kane will change his mind. We're over 10 minutes in, so we can swear. It still doesn't do well for the algorithms, I don't think, but I don't really care anymore. The fact that we just now replaced Ericsson with Maddie says it all. Total failure by ownership, absolutely. Royal has come on bundles, to be fair. Can't attack. So he's come on bundles, but he can't attack. He can defend slightly better than Porro, but that's because he stays extra deep. Royal stays extra deep because he knows he can't attack. If any defender stayed as deep as Emerson did, they would look better at defending. Royal knows, everyone knows he can't attack, so he doesn't. Sits back. Give the geezer a chance. Lloris distribution, shocking. Yeah, I mean, of course, we give the geezer a chance, but there are many better options out there. And if 3 months into the season he's not good enough, which could easily be the case, it looks like it's going to be the case with Vicario, then it's not good. It's not Vicario himself. I've got nothing personal. I've got nothing to say about Vicario personally. It's just the recruitment levels. Maybe you should have gone for Raya. £5 million more, £10 million more. Jose Sarr was a great option too. One massive change I saw was when we played Barca. We trusted our football and we didn't look scared to play it, and we played with heart, and we lost 4-2. That's the problem, though. That's the problem. If you keep losing games, we lost to West Ham as well, start of the pre-season. Keep losing games, then Ange will have to adapt from the attacking football, or he's going to lose his job. Every manager in the history of the world, if their job's on the line, they will change their tactics if they keep losing week in, week out. And I'm sure Andrew will start changing his tactics like all managers do. Would have you preferred Kane to go to Chelsea on a free then? That's all hindsight. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if Kane would go to Chelsea if his contract run out. I don't really care. Once they leave Spurs, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I wouldn't like to see him at Arsenal or Chelsea. Of course not. Yeah, I don't really care. I only care about Spurs and how many goals he scores for Spurs and what we're doing, if I'm perfectly honest. If he goes to Chelsea, do you know what? He can laugh all the way to the bank, Harry Kane, because I'll tell you what, wherever club he goes to next, they're going to triple his wages. 200 grand a week's a lot of money, but this guy's the best striker in the world, or one of two, him and Haaland, and deserves to be playing at a better level, higher level. Talking to strikers, let's go to the next point. The next rumoured player to Spurs this morning. Jonathan David to Spurs, £50 million. I should have changed this to £60 million. You're going to cost more than that. And I'm not sure £60 million for Jonathan David is the route we should be going down. All right, let me get back to this. We've got 25 likes. That's brilliant. Thank you ever so much. Quarter of a century. That's brilliant. I know we've got people coming in and out of watching. So if you haven't yet hit the like, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 30. Let's get to 30 likes. I can see the people that haven't liked. I can see you. I will find you. Of course. You do what you got to do. But please smash a like. It makes the world of difference. He looks like a lightweight here to be Jonathan David. To be honest with you, relatively small shoulders and that. We need a dominant striker with strength. So he's been rumoured. David's been rumoured with a lot of clubs this summer, mostly Arsenal. The rumour of him going to Arsenal has been at the start of the window to now. They still haven't signed a striker. I still think they're a striker short, Arsenal, especially with Gabriel Jesus getting injured last season. Havertz will play as centre midfield for Arsenal, as he has done through pre-season. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal got this guy. Lots of links with him going to the Milan clubs as well. But we have been linked over the last few weeks. We've been linked, and this morning, since Kane's since the £110 million bid apparently has come in, David rumours seem to be coming through. I don't watch a great deal of League One, but I tell you what, Ligue 1, but 24 goals in 37 games for Lille. You've got to be impressed. Scored plenty in the Champions League too. I think he scored 3 or 4 in the Champions League. Like Nelsson, Victor Nelsson, we just talked about. 23. At 23 years old, David is an experienced player. Played a lot of games. 150 plus just for Lille. And 45 games for Canada. 25 goals. 45 games, 25 goals. He's got a good game-to-goal ratio. You can't deny that, Jonathan David. And because of that, he's going to cost £60 million, 50, £60 million plus. Mostly up top, but can play wide. When I've seen him play, he plays on the left. But I'm pretty sure the predominantly plays as a number 9 or plays up top, let's say. I would imagine more as a false 9 than an out-and-out number 9. He was signed for £23 million, I think, from Belgium, in Belgium somewhere. Maybe Club Brugge, someone like that. Again, someone like that. £23 million. He has only 2 years left on his contract, which could make him slightly cheaper. But I'm saying a minimum £50 million, probably £60, £70 million. If we sell Kane for £110 million, I don't think Levy's going to spend 70 on this guy. And then the net is £40 million. I don't see it. And again, I don't see why he'd want to come. The only way we sign David is if Kane's sold. There's no way both's happening. There's no way we're keeping Kane and David. Yeah, why do you want to come? David is relatively realistic. Tony was the most realistic, I believe, at the start of the window. Even if you wouldn't see him for 6 months, he's probably the striker I would have liked, as I said earlier. But I don't think many clubs are going to sell the best players at this stage of the season. The only team that constantly mess about this stage of the season is us. It's happened for years and years and years and years and years. Right, gonna start talking about my predicted 11 for the season. What I think will be the best 11 at Spurs this season. I've got a funky visual, little bit of a funky visual to go with it, and I'm going to start talking on these transfer streams over the summer. I've been looking at. I always go through rumours at the end from newspapers. I'll give you the actual papers they're from. So some affecting Spurs, some not so much. We're gonna go to that in a little while. But first, we get through the chat, see what people are saying. Would you prefer Kane to go to Chelsea? It's not going to take a season. I'm not expecting to win every game, though. If we are serious about a rebuild, we wouldn't be angry if we keep losing. We say this, and I've heard this time and time again, but when you lose 2 games in a row, the fans will get on the manager's back. We're so fickle. This fan base is unbelievably fickle. So a rebuild, you do need to wait. But we won't wait. The fans will not. I know this fan base. I know this fan base, for too long. We say we need a rebuild. It doesn't matter if we lose games. But when you're 10th, 11th, 12th, and you concede in 3, 4, 5 against West Ham, we lost to Leicester 4-1 last season. We got relegated. If those games happen, then those results happen, which I'm sure they will with this defence. Then Ange is on borrowed time. The problem is that we went for our backup option in Vicario while the Goons signed our number 1 as their number 2. I know, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane, isn't it? It's insanity. Because, Ramsdale's been fantastic for Arsenal. He truly has. So I don't see him coming in as number 1. Vicario is a backup keeper. Can some of these players score in pressure games? Only trust a few to score. It seems like when Richarlison's in a big game, in pressure situations, he just flops. His finishing just becomes ridiculously poor. He scored 3 against the Lion City Sailors, and they were all terrible goals as well, weren't they? They were like the most standard goals against a horrible, horrible defence. Worse than ours, and that's saying something. The Lion City Sailors. They're not even the best club in Thailand, for fuck's sake. We only got them because the Roma game got called off. David is 5'8" and too small for the Premier League, in my opinion. Jonathan David, big no, not good enough for us. I'd rather someone like Orban. A lot of people taking Orban over David all day long. Tommy, I'm a fan who will wait. I'm not a flip-flop. Trust me, you are, but you're in the minority. And if you are, you're in the absolute minority. And it doesn't matter what one person thinks at this football club. It matters what the majority thinks. And the majority will get on Ange's back. They say they won't. A lot say they won't, but they will. I've seen it time and time and time again. Time and time again. Right. Okay. Next one. Next thing to discuss. Season starting 11. and other predictions. So I'm looking at, this is my starting 11. To be fair, I created this last night when there was no bid for Harry Kane. So this is with Harry Kane in mind. If not, let's say Harry Kane is sold, then you're going to swap Harry Kane with Richarlison, which I think will be a fucking nightmare, as I've said multiple times on this stream. So this would be the starting 11 I'd go with. Vicario in goal, we've got no real choice. He's better than Forster, probably. Romero and Van der Ven at centre-back. Van der Ven's... we don't know a great deal about Van der Ven, but he's got to be better than the centre-backs we currently have. Surely. But I tell you now, in fact, I'll go with what I think we'll go with 2 months down the line in a second. But Pedro Porro, I don't rate Emerson at all. So I would hope that Porro can learn to defend. Udogie, left back. I mean, the other options, Ben Davies and Reggie, are shocking. Bentancur, if he's fit, he starts. It's as simple as that. Both-footed, incredible. Probably behind Kane. He was our best player last season when he was fit. Bissouma, I think, could be a big season for Bissouma. I really do. I really do think it could be a big season for Bissouma. When he started the first half of last season, he wasn't very good. Then he got injured. So it's not a given that he's going to do great. Same with Bentancur. We don't even know if he's going to be fit after ACL. Maddison, his debut season. I love Maddison. Definitely our best sign in the transfer window. And just a very, very good player in general. So by a country mile, our best attacking mid. He's a well-known, well-rounded player, Maddison. He's certainly going to create for us if he stays fit, of course. Kulusevski on the right. He hasn't looked great in pre-season. Didn't look great last season. In and out of being injured. I'm a big fan of Kulusevski, but he's got to change it up because he relies on pace. I mean, he doesn't rely on pace, so he's got to change it up. He can't just keep coming inside. He's too predictable. We'll see what happens there. This is the thing. Kulusevski will look better with Porro behind him because Porro will go on the outside and cross balls in. Kulusevski can then come on the inside. With Emerson behind Kulusevski, it was shocking because Emerson can't go on the outside or the inside. He can't attack. And when Emerson actually looked good was when he came inside because he's so bad at crossing on outside. That's where Kulusevski wants to go. So the second half of last season, Emerson was running into the box inside, but that is where Kulusevski wanted to go. So it actually derails the effectiveness of Kulusevski, Emerson being at right back, because he can't go on the outside and get those balls in. So that's why we have to try and get the best out of Porro. He has to learn how to defend. Son, yeah, of course, he's going to be on the left wing. So that's the best 11. From the current team we have, that's the best 11 I see us going forward with. But, every player is, the defense alone is risky. But even Bissouma is injured a lot last season. Bentancur coming back with an ACL. So we talk about centre-backs, but centre-mid could be a big problem. We don't know what's going on with Hojbjerg. It looks, for all intent and purposes, he's going to be going to Atletico Madrid. But even if he was fit, he's not a great player himself, is he? Skip and Sarr could get a lot of minutes. I've got a funny feeling Sarr's still going to go out on loan. We'll see. If Hojbjerg's sold, then Sarr's staying for definite. If Hojbjerg stays, then Sarr's going on loan, as far as I'm concerned. It'll be him or Skip, and I'm sure Sarr will go on loan over Skip. But what I feel will happen is, as the season develops, Eric Dyer will probably get in front of Van der Ven. He's the ultimate manager kiss ass, isn't he, Eric Dyer? I can't believe he's going to be here for another season, but he is. Actually, I can believe he's going to be here for another season. He's been here 10 years, hasn't he? Hopefully, fingers crossed, whatever happens, we do not offer him a contract this season, Eric Dyer, because we know he only has 12 months left. He has to not. Please. 24-25. I do not want to see Eric Dyer registered as one of as a 25, as one of the players in the 25-man squad. It just cannot happen. I think Emerson will get in over Porro, and he will just not offer any free assists in 2 seasons. Porro is insanely talented up top, but as everyone says, and rightly says, he can't defend. Benny, we just don't know whether he'll recover from injury. So Skip might play a lot of the games. I think it could be Skip and Bissouma in there, which is, again, not great. I'll rate Skip. I'm one of the few that does rate Skip. I might be biased because I'm born in Tottenham and I like the homegrown boys. But I think there is something in Skip. Certainly not good enough if we want to be fighting for the top 4. Oliver Skip playing week in, week out. Just know you're near good enough. There's a lot of problems with this squad. If we think centre midfield is this centre midfield is certainly going to be effective, well, the Bissouma and Bentancur need to stay fit to start with. Finally, Harry Kane. Harry Kane might not be here. So it's going to be Richarlison up front. Richarlison is not going to get 30 goals. He's not going to get half of the goals Kane got. And Son, I don't think will either. People are saying Son can play up top. He couldn't finish his dinner last season. One-on-one chances. I think Son coming from the left and having that bottom right corner to finish his shots in, to aim for that far right corner with Kane supplying him, works for Son. One-on-one through the middle. His finishing's terrible. He's older now as well. Didn't have a great season. So Kane goes, we're in trouble. I'm telling you, we're not finishing in the top 10 if Kane goes. No chance. But we've got this Veliz chap, this Argentine. Veliz. Who knows? Complete unknown quantity. Like many of our players we've signed this window. Vicario, Van der Ven, Ashley Phillips, Solomon. Right. So on to predictions for the season. I want to know what everyone's predictions are. What in the chat? What's everyone's league finish prediction if we keep Kane? What's everyone's league prediction if we sell Kane? That's what I'd like to know. If we keep Kane, I think we'll get 8th, which is Conference League this season because the Champions League changes. If you get into the top 5, you get into the Champions League this season. And for the future, I think, with England, the Premier League, I should say, in the coefficient. So 8th gets us in the Conference League. I think with Kane, we could sneak it. We could get into 8th, 7th or 8th. Without, we're finishing 11th, 12th. That's how I see it. We're only in 3 cup competitions. So predictions in terms of the cup competitions as well. We're in 1 less cup competition than we have been in the last 15 years, no Europe. So I'd love us to win a domestic trophy, but unless the draw is fantastic and easy, I don't think we'll do it. I asked my guests about their predictions on Tuesday. One of them was, will Ange last the season? I've said it numerous times on this stream. I don't think he'll last till Christmas. Could be a very similar situation to Nuno. Some say I'm negative. I guess I am in terms of thinking, in terms of my prediction on whether Ange is going to be here or not. I don't see it. I absolutely don't see it. I can't see him being here next season. Add to that the strength of the teams around us, the transfers made by the teams around us. Chelsea have been fantastic. They got rid of their deadwood. They brought some very good players in. Arsenal got rid of some deadwood like Xhaka, brought some good players in. We've had the worst transfer window out of the 3 London clubs for sure. Pochettino has been respected by the Chelsea board. They needed to get rid of players. That was their main target, their prime target this summer, and that's what happened. And now they're bringing big players in. Our biggest issue was centre backs. We haven't done it. We got Van der Ven in 3 days ago. That's it. Not good enough. Not good enough. Right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what people are saying. No fans of Jonathan David. Absolutely no fans of Jonathan David. I hope there were less flip-floppers as far as I'm concerned. Bissouma is miles better than Bentancur. He didn't have the best of seasons last season, Dan. That's for sure. Even before he got injured, Bissouma. But Bissouma is a quality operator. I loved what I saw at Brighton. If you can bring that form, which I'm actually convinced he can, I think he can become that player at Spurs, then fantastic. Absolute no chance Sarr goes on loan. He'll go on loan if Hotspur stays. There won't be enough space in the 25-man squad. If Hotspur stays, you've only got a 25-man squad. So that's how I see things. That's how I see things anyway. If Kane and Hotspur both leave, Captain Dyer incoming, just watch. Of course. Absolutely. If Hotspur stays, Dyer's still going to be the captain. C-cubed. Tommy, do you think it could affect Maddison now that Kane looks to be departing? Absolutely. Of course it will. Maddison will get many, many, many more assists if Kane's in front of him over Richarlison or Son. My team B, Vicario, Romero, VDV, Phillips, Adoji, Royal. Phillips is going to be in under 23s, almost certainly. Royal, Solomon, Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison. I like being different. That's very, very different. That is a rebuild. If you're going to start with that team, that is the foundation of a rebuild if you're going to go there. Who's your pick for captain if Kane and Hotspur are gone? Give it to anyone other than Eric Dyer. The obvious choice is Eric Dyer. I would give it to Son. Everyone tells me, well, Son's not leadership material. It doesn't matter in football. You do nothing. In football, captain doesn't mean anything. It's just a gimmick. So I'd give it to Son. There's no one else. Who else are you going to give it to? The whole back four, the whole back five are useless, being leaders. Romero's definitely not a leader. Who could you give it to? Just no one, is there? You just give it to Sonny for the sake of it because he's been there the longest. Is Sonny's form going to drop even more? I think towards the end of last season, it looked like he was recovering a little bit. But Son without Kane probably won't score anywhere near as many. Life goes on. In terms of Kane going, of course it does. No player's bigger than the club, but I don't see us. I don't see us doing better without Kane than with Kane. Porro right wing, Royal right back, Son up front, Perisic or Richarlison left wing back. I'm actually a fan of Perisic. I said it for a long time, not because he's had a few good games in pre-season, but the fact that he's got 11 assists last season. Can't defend Richarlison. Left back would be an absolute nightmare. He's a nightmare at left wing back in the Premier League. But left winger, I think Perisic will get 10 assists again. So there's a way we can adapt things. But if you put Porro right wing, who's back up to Emerson? If Emerson gets injured, what are you going to do? You're going to bring Porro back to right back? You're just constantly changing things. And this is where we get to the balance of the team. The balance of the team is so bad. There is no balance to this team. It's so off. Kane 7th, no Kane 9th. You're talking nonsense. 12th. We'll see without Harry Kane. We'll see about those 30 goals, about Harry Kane in this defence. Harry Kane has Son and bowed us out season over season over season, getting us into this. Well, to be fair, the last 4 seasons, even their goals haven't bowed us out a great deal. We finished 6th, 7th, 4th under Conte, 8th last season. Without Kane, 3 or 4 places below 8th. I don't think it's a big prediction. I don't think that's a crazy prediction, to be honest with you. Not with the strength of the teams around us. Brighton have just got stronger. Aston Villa have done brilliant in the transfer window. Tielemans for free is smart. Pau Torres at centre-back is smart. Diaby at left wing looks absolutely incredible in pre-season. Villa are growing. Brighton are growing. Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United with their new manager. Chelsea, we're not catching up with any of them. Tommy, I completely agree. I am not expecting too much this season. Top 10 good run in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and I'll be happy. Tommy, I completely agree with you, but why do our fans bang on about a rebuild if we think he'll be sacked by Christmas? It seems like no one is prepared. He's rebuild makes sense. We do need a rebuild, but the fickleness of football and the fickleness at Spurs is you can't take the rebuild if you're losing game after game after game. We should be prepared to. But I can't see it. I can't see the fans being prepared. I can't see Levy doing it either. Levy will want some form of European football, for sure. Last couple of games, Villas has been a bit quiet, but Rosario lost their 2 main playmakers. I think if we're trying to debate what Veliz can do in this league, then that goes to show how badly our depth and balance has been neglected over the last few seasons. Veliz should be nowhere near the first team, really. He's just a punt for the future. Højbjerg doesn't suit system. Sarr does. But if you can't fit 25, you can't fit him in the 25-man squad, then you can't fit him in the 25-man squad. So if Højbjerg goes, definitely Sarr staying. Absolutely. I'm just saying if Højbjerg stays, then there's going to be no space. And Højbjerg is not going to go into the under-23s, is he? Or Højbjerg is not going to go out on loan. So that's the way I see it. I would like Sarr to stay. There's a reason we're trying to offload him. Yeah, well, my argument is if he stays. If he stays, as I said at the start, if Højbjerg goes, Sarr stays. Knocked yourself out. Right. Finally, let's get into the paper talk. I enjoy this part of the stream because it's not all Spurs. It's not all depressing Spurs news, but some of it will be because we are in the transfer window. We've got 2 weeks left. We'll also just hit the hour mark on the stream. So if you haven't smashed a like, please make sure you do. It's going to be the final segment today. If there are any other transfer rumours you're hearing to do with Spurs, let me know. We've got 30 likes. Keep hitting a like if you haven't. Football gossip. This is a weird one, but then Man City have done a few weird things this transfer window anyway. I mean, Gvardiol was a no-brainer, but Man City are also interested in West Ham, a Brazil midfielder, Lucas Paqueta, 25, but the Hammers are reluctant to sell. Seems like a bit of a random one to not be true. And then Pep Guardiola's side have made an opening 70 million bid for Paqueta. That's a separate rumour. It's a separate newspaper, which West Ham are set to reject. That's Ge Globo in Portuguese reporting that.
Do you want to change the bins then?
Bayern Munich wants to submit a new offer of 100 million euros, 94.6 million, including add-ons for Tottenham and England striker Harry Kane. This is Sky Sports. So this was reported last night. So 110 million euros. So this is 110 million euros. I thought it was 110 million sterling, pounds. So it will only be 95 million, which I think is acceptable for Kane. But the news I heard was 110 million sterling. So it would make more sense, 95 million pounds. However, Bayern and Munich are still, and Spurs, Bayern and Spurs still remain apart in evaluation of Kane following fresh talks with the 30-year-old leaning towards staying at the Premier club. That's the Athletic. If Kane does leave Tottenham, the club will pursue a move for Ghent's Nigerian forward Gift Orban, 21, in addition to another centre-back and midfielder. Wishful thinking, none of that's going to happen. We sell Kane, we're going to sign one more player maximum. North London rivals Arsenal and Tottenham are ready to battle it out for Aston Villa's 25-year-old Brazilian midfielder, Douglas Luiz, Football Insider, who is a defensive midfielder. Right, so that's Douglas Luiz. I haven't heard any concrete rumours on him other than this, and this is Football Insider. He's a defensive midfielder, Douglas Luiz. So we sell Hojbjerg and bring Douglas Luiz in. Same with Amrabat. If you buy Amrabat for Hojbjerg, it's the same player, same type of player. In fact, Amrabat's even more defensive than Hojbjerg. I'm a big fan. But it wouldn't make a great deal of sense. Arsenal have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign 27-year-old Spanish keeper David Raya for close to £30 million. But that's not right. That's Romano reporting that. This morning, we're hearing that it's a £3 million signing on fee, initial fee for Raya with a potential £27 million. So, and again, that's their backup keeper. That'll be the backup to Ramsdale if they sign David Raya. Saudi Arabian side Al Hilal, who've signed loads of players, want to sign Paris Saint-Germain and Brazil forward Neymar and plan to meet with a 31-year-old's father. That's Foot Mercato in French newspaper. Neymar would willingly leave PSG for a club in Saudi Arabia, provided they let him spend a season on loan at Barcelona. That's Sport in Spanish. So numerous papers reporting this on Neymar. Everton are considering a move for England midfielder, defender, Harry Maguire, 30, as are West Ham. And Manchester United interested in Belgian midfielder Amadou Onana, 21, in an exchange, which makes sense. So they'll have two Onanas. Man United have already bought Inter Milan's Onana, goalkeeper, and Everton sent in midfielder Onana, who had a great season. It's one of the bright prospects to come out of last season for Everton, Onana. But it looks like he's going West Ham. I heard that Harry Maguire's certainly on his way to West Ham. I can see that happening. I can see the more likely destination for Maguire would be West Ham. I tell you what, though, I do not want Maguire at Spurs. But if he was to come to Spurs, that was reported regularly this window. He'd be the best centre back in the year. He's by far the best centre back in the year. Our centre back's terrible in the year, shocking at winning headers. Romero, shocking in the year. Crystal Palace, where's this? Closing in on Chelsea and England left-back Lewis Hall on a season-long loan. Man United are interested in 23-year-old French centre-back Jean-Claire Todibo from Nice as a replacement for Maguire. This is what proper clubs do. Proper clubs sell players and then 2 days later sign a replacement. Man United done it in January. Well, they didn't even sell Eriksen. Eriksen got a big injury. 2 days later, they got Sabitzer in. Not a great player, Sabitzer, but a good player. They worked. They've done things very quickly. Arsenal, Sassuolo, bid rejected in January. 2 days later, they got Kovacevic in. We've done a very good job for them. So proactivity, something that Spurs have lacked for a very, very, very long time, which is why the fundamental reason for me, we need new owners. No proactivity, no plan. The only plan is monetary gains, which we have a lot of and still don't spend. Man United also intend to open formal contract talks with English defender Wan-Bissaka after the current transfer window closes. That's the Mail reporting that. And I tell you what, Wan-Bissaka is one of, if not the best defensive right back in the league, in the world. But again, he's not very good at attacking. He's better attacking than Emerson. Wan-Bissaka, watch the guy defend. Is incredible. He's incredible at Crystal Palace. Just doesn't get the assists, Wan-Bissaka. He's still a very good player. England right back Kyle Walker has decided to stay at Man City despite reaching the previous agreement to join Bayern Munich. Because Bayern Munich didn't sign Cancelo, did they? They didn't sign Cancelo. I don't know what's happening with Cancelo at Man City. That's the Athletic reporting that. Kyle Walker's not going to go to Bayern Munich. Real Sociedad want to take 26-year-old Arsenal and Scotland left-back Kieran Tierney on loan. That's the Telegraph reporting that. That affects Spurs because Reggie, the only rumour I saw of Reggie on, was to Real Sociedad. So Real Sociedad obviously need left-back. They get Tierney. They're not going to get Reggie as well. I think it's a difficult one. Would I rather have Reggie or Ben Davies as backup to Udogie? It's very difficult. I actually rate Reggie. I rate Ben Davies as a defensive left back, but that's it. I'd probably prefer Reggie as backup to Udogie over Ben Davies. I'll probably try and sell Ben Davies, but we kind of need him for a homegrown quota. And either way, whatever happens, if Ben Davies stays this summer, Ange's not going to play him at centre back. In a free, of course. He played for Wales at centre back before he played for us at centre back. He's bad enough left centre back in a free. Ben Davies, he's average, isn't he? He's okay. He's definitely not playing as 1 as 2 centre back. If he plays centre back this season, we're getting relegated. Ben Davies. If it's Ben Davies and Romero at centre back, we're going down. Down. Barcelona have added a €1 billion, £861 million release clause to the contract of 16-year-old German midfielder Noah Darvic. Is that how it's pronounced? Wow. That's multiple newspapers reporting that. He's the one that smashed us up, wasn't he, when he came on? £861 million release clause is the next big thing, isn't he? Chelsea's Italy under-21 midfielder Cesar Casadei is wanted on loan by Leicester City and Genoa. They spent a lot of money on Casadei from Inter Milan last summer. I think when Chelsea loaned Lukaku back to Inter Milan, they done a deal with Sasidi. I think they spent £25 million on this Italian young centre midfielder. It looks like he's going to Leicester, so he could be lining up with Harry Winks in centre midfield. Netherlands forward Weghorst will join Wolfsburg on a season-long loan from Burnley. I wouldn't be surprised if Weghorst is the Kane replacement. Pavlyuchenko, a bit like Pavlyuchenko when we signed him. A bit like Fraser Campbell when we sold Berbatov. The replacement for Berbatov was Fraser Campbell in that window because we left things so late. I could see Weghorst coming to Spurs quite easily. Okie dokie. So I think that's where we're going to leave it. That's where we're going to leave today's stream. Who's news? Velez scores goals in the Prem. It's not as hard to do as people think. Arthur Wenzarocki from Fluminense. It's very difficult to get South American strikers in. It's very rare the South American strikers come in and do a good job in Britain, especially directly from South America. How many South American strikers have done it directly from South America in Premier League? I'm trying to think. From a South American club directly. Aguero's obviously from Atletico Madrid. I can't think of any, to be quite honest. Two very, very different leagues, isn't it? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of strikers. Let's go through. Arsenal? No. Chelsea? Can't think of one. Man City? Can't think of one. I don't know. I can't think of one. Man City's current striker. What's his name? The youngster that came through last season. I mean, he's had one season. He's done okay. I mean, for someone like that to replace Kane is just ridiculous. Adams to Chelsea is heart-wrenching. As an American, we know how good he is, and Spurs need a 6. He's very, very good. And obviously, CQ, you come from that part of the world. Tyler Adams, one of the brief good players, one of the brief, one of the positives of Leeds' terrible campaign last season was Tyler Adams. I've just posted a video about eating disorders and depression. Perfect time to gain the sympathy of the fan base. What is that? Fuck knows what that's about. I'd take Nelsson, like him. Proper defender. Yeah, I like Nelsson. I would have liked Nelsson alongside Laporte or Tapsoba, to be honest with you. I take Reggie as he's a better all-round player. I think so. I think Reggie can't play left wing back. We saw that. Left back is slightly better, but the fact that Atletico Madrid didn't play him at all last season on loan there is worrying. I don't think Davis counts as homegrown because he's Welsh. He does because because Swansea still count. Swansea are a Premier League team, so even though they're based in Wales, they class their class as a British team. You can be homegrown and be Brazilian if you started. If you came to the club at 18 years of age, between 18 and 21, you can. It doesn't matter what nationality you are, you can still count as homegrown. All Barca's new signings are on €1 billion release clause. The left wing 16-year-old who came on the other night for Barca only had a year on his deal. This is what you should do. You should put huge release fees on. Villarreal made a big error with Nicholas Jackson, the guy that signed for Chelsea up front, who looks the dog's bollocks, quite frankly. They put a £30 million release fee on him, and he's worth 50, 60 million pounds, and Chelsea snapped him up. So Villarreal made a big mistake there. And with Spain, it's a weird one in Spain. Every player has to have a minimum release fee. It's just one of the things, just one of the rules over there. It's crazy. Juninho for Middlesbrough. He came from Celtic and Atletico Madrid. I think he came directly from Celtic. I'm talking about directly from South America. There's nothing really. I mean, no one. Argentina footballers, mainly homegrown players. Right. I think that's a good time to wrap things up. I'm not going to be streaming for a good week, I don't think, week and a half. But there should be other hosts. Going to try and get Jason from Hotspur to do another stream tomorrow with guests. He done a fantastic job last Friday. And Tuesday, we're going to try and do the same thing with regulars you see on Tuesday night, taking over the hosting duties. So make sure you stick with us. I'll be back for the new season. Well, the game after the new season. Hopefully everything's going well. At that point, hopefully we get the 3 points against Brentford. Not going to be an easy game. It never is against Brentford. So thanks for showing support to the channel for this show. Don't forget to like, hit the sub, hit the notification bell. It really does make a difference. Let's see how many likes we're on. Come on, over 30. You're on 32. Fantastic. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a great deal. I hope everyone has a great Thursday, great weekend. Stay safe, stay free, stay classy, Lily Whites.